Hi there, thanks for taking our call. We wanted to talk about if you guys had heard ever about rocket yoga.
Rocket yoga?
Rocket yoga. And if you haven't, I want to tell you a little story about rocket yoga.
Sure.
Okay, so there's a man named Larry Schultz who used to be the yoga teacher to the Grateful Dead. He used to teach Bob Weir and Mickey Hart. And he created these routines, and he was teaching Bob Weir one day, and he said to him, "Bob, what are we going to call these routines?" And Bob said, "We're going to call it the rocket." And Larry said, "Why?" And he said, "Because it gets you there faster." And we thought that was really great, and I just wanted to, we tune into your show every week because we love the Grateful Dead, and we listen to the music all the time. And I had an opportunity to see Mickey Hart at his house a few years ago when I was with Larry, and we went and taught him some yoga, and he actually was doing the super kind of crazy music with drums from, it was called Sounds of the Universe. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it was a project that he was into at one point, and he had us come out and do some yoga with him, and it was pretty cool. But Larry passed away February 11th, 2011, and ever since then I've been thinking about some of the members of the Grateful Dead, and knowing that they initiated and inspired this whole movement of yoga, and Larry's dream was called It's Yoga. We have 15 studios all over the world, and we teach rocket yoga. It is pretty cool. Had you ever heard of it before?
Where can we find you?
Where can you find us? Itsyoga.com. 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 And you'll see a whole thing on rocket yoga, and we use that whole quote by Bobby Weir all the time about how the rocket gets you there faster, because typically in classical Ashtanga yoga, when Larry was hired, I think it was Rock Scully who might have been a part of that, but you had to perfect postures. You had to do one pose before you could get to the next, and like Phil Lesh and those guys, they couldn't do that because their bodies were so funky from being musicians. So he created this whole routine just for them, so that he modified the system. And it was actually really revolutionary, because in those days classical Ashtanga yoga was not to be messed with. And Larry, he would say to them, "Well, when do you guys want to do yoga? At what time?" And they would say to him, "Time? There's only daylight and dark." And so he would sit he would sit in his hotel room for like 14 hours a day waiting for these guys to call him and say they wanted to do some yoga. And he kind of like created this whole thing around the joints of the body, and he would say that Phil Lesh actually got the most from it, and Mickey too, because Mickey had said to him, "Dude, you've got to get us a book. You've got to write this stuff down." And so Larry he wrote the first book on Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga because of Mickey Hart's enthusiasm and love for the practice, and it's become this whole thing. We do teacher trainings. We've trained over 5,000 people in this system of yoga, which was really born from the Grateful Dead era. And so we talk about the Grateful Dead. I listen to the Grateful Dead every day. I was married to Larry for 7 years, and so when he passed away, it was really kind of my life's work to continue on the legacy, and we just love the Grateful Dead for it. So yeah, I felt like it was time to give you guys a call. Yeah, thanks for having us on. We'll call back and check in and tell more stories sometime soon.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Please do. Thank you.